So go to games, don't buy no food.
That's ridiculous.
He was literally world class. No, he was definitely world class. It's not even up for
He
debate.
desperately needed some players.
At the right price, everyone's available.
What's going on, people? We're back. Football Frenzy podcast. Myself, Jamie Guna, Philip, Fasmanian Devil, and Flashing Lights. There was another freak shock this weekend, and that was the Liverpool result. Aston Villa winning by 7-2. I don't even. I feel as if I should just pass this straight over to you, Lights. I don't even know what to say, bruv. What's your thoughts on the game? Huh?
I didn't watch it. I saw the first half. I didn't watch it.
But what happened to staying with your club through thick and thin?
Yeah, I watched the whole of that. I watched the whole of that painful beating that United beat.
That was too thin, innit? That was too thin for me. Like, nah, I don't know.
It's because obviously, like, I think the Liverpool fans recently, yeah, they haven't, like, in recent times, especially under Klopp, yeah, like, they've not held lash like that. Like, even the Watford game that they lost wasn't really lash, and then the City game, like, I don't think they really cared about. But this was lash. Like, if you think of, like, bro, I can't remember the last time. Who was it? Southampton are the last team that have got beaten like that comprehensively, like, and conceded that number of goals in the game.
I saw something today. Well, I've been hearing it everywhere since the game, since the final whistle blew, but saying that was the most embarrassing loss in Premier League history because there's never been a team that has conceded more than, I think it's 4 goals or 5 goals this season after in their defending of the title.
Yeah.
They've never conceded that many. That's the biggest loss anyone's ever had whilst defending a title. Do you know what I mean? And you got to think, yeah, it's not where for me this is worse than the Man United game. Not just because obviously 6 and 7, but because Man United they went down to 10 men. B, they was against a team of a very similar level. Like, this is Liverpool versus Aston Villa. Aston Villa stayed up only a few months ago by 1 point. I know they've considerably improved their team since, but like, there was no penalties, there was no red cards, there was no dubious decisions or anything like that. Like, this is just, you held licks. Do you know what I mean? Like, and to be honest, again, like, I've been saying for ages that Liverpool's defense looks shaky. It looks shaky, but I feel like majority of us teams, especially the bigger teams, we pay Liverpool too much respect. We play like how Arsenal played last week or how Chelsea played the week before. You don't go at them. Do you know what I mean? When you go at them, they're there to be got. They play a very high line and their defense is very shaky. And I saw something, I think 8 of the 11 goals that Liverpool have conceded this season, have all come down the right-hand side. All of them have come down that right-hand side. Do you know what I mean? So, like, I don't know, man. I don't know. Like, for me, like I said, this is all, it's been coming, but I'd never expected it to have been a loss of this much. I thought like maybe someone might put 4 past them or something, but I never expected it to be 7, and I definitely didn't expect it to be Aston Villa.
Yeah.
For words.
You know what? To be honest, the defense, I said this before as well when I was talking about City. Yeah, I still think we'll win it, but our defense hasn't looked as solid as it has. I think what's creeping up in us as well is a bit of a United kind of thing, where there seems to be too many individual mistakes at the moment. Like, every game there has been either a goalkeeping error or a defensive error that has led directly to a goal, and it's a lot of the time I think it's the first goal as well. Like, our first goal that we conceded, because we haven't, bar Chelsea, we've gone behind in every game, and obviously just come back. But and they've all been like, the first goals all are pretty much errors, and I'm like proper like glaring errors, like where someone's made a mistake and it's cost us. Not necessarily someone being out of position and too easy, like literally like straight towards the defender or a side taking or pass. Like it seems to just like crept in our game a bit, which is a bit worrying at the moment. But I think with results like that, it's not going to happen again. But I think it was just a complete lapse. I think it kind of just shocked everyone like in the team, and then they just kind of fell apart from there. So it's worrying. And what would have been good? It would have been good to get the Everton game out of the way, to like right straight away, and not have it lingering for like the next 2 weeks.
I reckon less as well,
Yeah, and I think, do you know what it is? I think a couple of people in that team at the moment just had like 4 games, like outrageously poor. Like you said, Gomez has been a solid defender for us.
Your lights, your signal, your Wi-Fi. Something seems to be wrong, bro.
You're coming in and out.
You're in and out still?
Yeah.
What about now?
Like it's stop, start.
What about now?
You seem all right now.
Okay, cool. Yeah, that and the high line thing, which is just been a staple of our game for like this season and last season, worked very well before. But I feel like, for some reason, we didn't get it right against Aston Villa. They just kept breaking that line. A couple of goals I thought, like where Gomez has tried to catch him on offside. Like the line's okay, and he's tried to catch him offside, and it's broken through.
They've been caught.
Yeah, it's been caught out. I think people are probably maybe wising up to that high line thing and thinking this maybe like if you do it, the chances are you're going to get caught offside. But if you do it enough, you'll get 1 or 2. And once you're past that line, you're clear on going in.
Yeah, I think. Again, though, this is where, and it's not like, because obviously Klopp and Ole are completely different levels of managers, but I was very surprised that you didn't drop deeper. Like watching that game, it was the same thing. Oh, like fair enough, you said you did it for half time, but the second half, bruv, honestly, it was like, am I watching the champion? It was like watching Sunday League. Like it was this, like 3 or 4 of Aston Villa goals was just balls over the top.
Oh, yeah,
like,
yeah.
A man was running from the halfway line. It was like, and I was like, surely now where it's 4-1, okay, change it, drop deeper. Okay, now it's 5-1, drop deeper. Okay, now it's 6-1, drop deeper. But it was you weren't doing it. It was just the same thing over. I don't know whether that comes down to like not arrogance, but like.
I was about to say that. I think it is a slight bit of arrogance with the bigger teams. Like you, regardless of like, and we said last. I think I said this about Pep last week. Is that the bigger managers and the bigger teams, especially the teams that are doing very well, not change
the way they
their philosophy. Yeah. So like they stick with their guns in it. Like, and I think in a normal life or a normal person, like you assume that look, you've got to have a sort of plan B, but these are so like entwined with their philosophy. They're so set in their ways with their philosophies that this is how we play. We play like this at 5-0 up. We play like this at 3-0 down. This is how Liverpool play. The same with City. City was similar with the goals that they conceded. The 5 that they conceded against Leicester, they were very similar goals or like similar mistakes. But it's the way they play. So Pep's not going to change just because they're losing. And I think the same with people like Klopp. He's not. That's the way they play. We've got a high line. We press from high up. Like, so we're in their half time, and they know that Pep knows that every now and then they're going to get caught out. He knows that when Klopp knows that it's going to catch them out every now and then. But playing like that helps us attack the way we do. Although probably at that point, 4-1 now, you probably should change it. But like managers like that do not change the way they play for anyone.
What I will say, where I'll sort of say, all right, cool, yeah, I can see the problem there, is the Adrian situation. So like, not just, and I don't mean from his mistake for the goal. I mean in general. Like I mean like when you're a defender or even a defensive midfielder and you're running back to goal or whatever, and like your whole game changes if you're not confident in the keeper. Like on a normal day, you might say, all right, cool, let me pass the ball back to Alisson, and then I'm confident that he'll hit Trent or he'll hit Robertson or he'll hit Virgil, or you know what I mean? Whereas with Alisson, you're not confident on what he's going to do. So now instead of giving it back to the goalkeeper, you might want to, let me try and find another defender,
Yeah,
or let me try
yeah.
to hold on to the ball and see if I can work something. Do you know what I mean? Your whole game changes, and that feeling will go across the whole defense. Do you know what I mean? So
Yeah. I think you find one thing.
Go on.
One other thing you'll find with Alisson, this is just on the how Alisson thing. One other thing you'll find with him is that when Liverpool's high line usually gets broken, Alisson is usually there. Do you know what I mean? Like Alisson does a lot of like sort of sweep up work. Like he's a sweeper keeper. Him, Edison's, Neuer's, like they can afford to play higher lines because the keeper is so far off his line most of the time. Like half of them balls that are getting put in behind, the keeper's there to sweep up anyway. And I think Adrian doesn't do the same thing for you.
Do you know the only thing?
He's literally in his 6-yard box most of the time.
Yeah, the only thing you can say about that though is like you would think that because this is Adrian's second season with you lot now.
Yeah.
Like you think after a year of training, like you've got maybe 3 first-team goalkeepers. Like what Alisson does would be like having a sweeper keeper if you've got a high line is like that. That for me goes without saying, isn't it? Like you can't have a high line and a halfway line and then be telling your keeper to stay.
Yeah.
Like that for me is basic coaching. Like, do you know what I'm saying? Like Klopp and his team need to be saying, well, Adrian, you need to be standing on the edge of the ball. And like even the thing is, and even when Klopp's standing on the sidelines, like he should know that, okay, yeah, like I instruct my team to have a high line. Like, so Adrian, what are you doing standing on the goal line? Like you need to be on the edge of the box in case a ball goes over the top. Like that for me, like I don't think that's not something that like we just throw him in and Alisson does it naturally and we expect him. Like you're a professional footballer or a professional goalkeeper playing for one of the best teams around at the moment. Like you need to be able to instruct your goalkeeper to do that, I think. So I don't think
what it is.
I don't think it is that as Adrian's not doing it. I know it's not his. It might not necessarily be his game, but that's something that I feel can still be coached because it's easy enough to be coached to stand here instead of there.
Some players aren't coachable though, and that's where the problem lies. Like Liverpool, as much as yes they've got Alisson now, you got to remember they've had Mignolet, they've had Karius, they've had Adrian, like they've had some shocking goalkeepers, right? And Adrian, to me, it seems like for the most part, he's got a lot of confidence, but as soon as something goes wrong, that confidence is completely shot. He's not someone that can battle through it. You know, some keepers, they'll make a mistake, but then for the rest of the game, they're pulling off worldies. Adrian, to me, like,
I don't.
That's a great keeper thing, though.
No. What I'm saying is, once he's made the mistake, maybe from there on, he's hiding. Like from watching the rest of that game, I didn't really see Liverpool playing out from the back much after that goal. Because maybe that's because Adrian now all of a sudden he's much deeper in the goal. Do you know what I mean? Like he's on the line and all of that type of stuff. I don't know, but Liverpool weren't from defensively. This is why I was saying what I said earlier in terms of it confuses the whole defense and loses the confidence of the whole defense. They didn't seem to be playing out through the keeper after that goal the way that they normally do when Alisson's there after they conceded that first goal. That's from my observation.
Oh yeah, I get you. I thought you meant his confidence like in goal, but like I get that. He probably after the first couple misplaced passes, he probably doesn't trust himself. So he passes I get that. But that probably trying to go a bit longer and it kind of ruins the way. Yeah, I get that. Yeah.
That wasn't really my point. My point was more about if the ball comes over, like even if he doesn't want to like stop the ball, beat a man and pass it to a man, like you should get to the ball first and just boot it out. Just clear your lines.
It's hard to change a way. You got to think, and these are goalkeepers, isn't it? Like, and this style of playing is quite new. If you're not a good, like, you got to think 9 out of 10 goalkeepers are probably not going to be very good football. So like, getting them to play a certain way.
Again, talking about being good at football, like that's not the point. The only point I'm making is that over the last year, if that's the way that Klopp likes to play with that style of keeper, like over a year, you must be able to train a keeper to stand on the edge of the box rather than in his goal. That's all I'm saying. I'm not saying that he's got to be the best footballer at the ball. He's got to know which pass to pick out. He's got to be a basic keeper. Stand on the edge of the box. If the ball goes over, boot it out. Done.
But that's why I'm saying. That's why I was saying what I said. Like he would at the beginning, he was doing that, and then after the mistake, he was much deeper. They wasn't really playing out from the back anymore. And then it's easy to say, oh, just boot it and get rid of it. But that's when you're going to have the manager on the touchline screaming at you because that's not his philosophy. Do you know what I mean? Like, if that's not the style of play.
But what he's doing right now, going into the goal, and as a result of that, he's not clearing the lines, means they're conceding goals. That's even worse. Surely the manager's not gonna. Surely the manager's gonna be more upset about you not doing what he would have asked in terms of being a sweeper keeper and clearing the ball. As opposed to
that ties in with what me and Lights was saying earlier in terms of when the manager has a philosophy, do it. Like we saw Pep with Man City last week. They were 5-2 down, bro. They're still playing out from them. They're not all of a sudden lumping long balls down the field.
Have you ever seen that thing that Henri was saying about how he how they had a thing about him, like Pep had a thing about his strikers not going past the halfway line, and he went back. He scored a goal or 2 goals in that half,
and he took him off
back past the halfway line to help, and he dragged him. Dragged him out of time.
That's what I'm saying.
Because that's like, and I guarantee you, like most of these managers, win or lose, they would rather lose their way by like 4 goals than their team decide to play somewhere like a different way and only lose by 1. Do you know what I mean? Like, this is how we play. This is the way we want to play. We're gonna get.
Yeah, but I don't think you're quite understanding what I'm saying. I don't think you're quite understanding what I'm saying. I'm talking about if Klopp's philosophy.
I know. Yeah.
No, I'm saying if Klopp's philosophy is to have a keeper on the edge of the box, like then he needs to have a keeper on. Like his keeper needs to be on the edge of the box. Like surely.
But what Jamie's saying though is.
Let me finish. So I can explain to you because I don't think you're getting what I'm saying. Like Klopp's philosophy is to have a. Klopp's philosophy is to have a keeper on the edge of the box, to be a sweeper keeper and clear up whatever it is. And whether his philosophy is you've got to come and stop the ball and make a pass, because that's how we play. We play out from the back, Adrian isn't doing that. Like
that's not what Jamie. What I'm saying is what Jamie was saying to you was
Adrian
was listen because he's saying Adrian was doing that and then he lost it with confidence and wasn't. So we're basically saying Adrian he was doing it. So that's the whole point of what Jamie was saying, that he was doing it, but if he's lost a bit of confidence halfway through the game, he might revert back to like what he knows, innit? Like that's not natural for him, innit? Do you know what I mean? Like, but because he's made a mistake or whatever, and he started going back to just being in the goal. Is the point? So like, it's not saying he's not coached to do it. Do you know what I mean? Like you see players do stuff like that all the time. Like if you're coached in a certain way and then stuff starts going wrong, you might just be like, you might back off into a corner, innit? Like, or do you know what I mean?
Oh yeah, no, of course.
And the way you play. So like, it's not.
I'm just wondering why he hasn't been told like. If he's not, I'm saying, if he isn't doing what Klopp's told him to do, and it's got to half-time or it's got past half-time or whatever, I'm wondering what is the management and the coaching doing if Adrian, yes, you've lost some confidence, Adrian, and as a result you're going back, but what are they doing? That's what I'm saying. I don't know, innit?
Certain things. You know what I mean? I'm just in general in football. There's certain things that you can't do. Like you can coach strikers how to score goals, but if you're not scoring goals and you lose a bit of confidence, no matter how coaching is going to help you until you get that goal. You know what I mean? Or until something happens. Like
I think that's a little bit different from telling her. It's a bit different from him saying, Adrian, like take 10 steps forward. Like it's not like he's not saying you need to be in this position, that position. Like just take 10 steps forward. Like that's what I'm saying. I'm just
saying naturally, I'm saying if he's made a mistake because of something that he was doing and he just starts reverting back to what he was doing before, doesn't mean that they haven't tried to coach him to do that. It's just because of the losing the confidence, you're backing off. You know what I mean? Like, which doesn't mean that Liverpool staff haven't told him how to do so. I don't know, innit? But it doesn't mean that they haven't told him or they haven't been coaching him how to play in a certain way.
Just to conclude though, so we can move on. Lights, how do you feel like going forward? Are you because you said I think you briefly said before that you still think you'll win the league. So you think this is just a blip? You don't think this is going to be defensively an ongoing issue for Liverpool? Obviously, and I don't mean that in terms of you're going to concede another 7.
Yeah. I don't. To be honest, I don't think. Obviously, we're not going to get hit by 7 again. But like, I think this is a blip, and I feel like it's been a blip for a little bit of a period. Like, not just this is not like 7 goals is out of the blue, but this sort of defensive issue that we had at the moment is not out of the blue. Like, it's kind of been building up, to be fair. So, but I do think it's just. I think it might just be and so I was saying to Faz before we got on that. I think a lot of teams are the smaller teams are getting confidence about playing big teams because of like new rules and stuff like that. And I feel like with a lot of the bigger teams, like fatigue will start like starting to set in with these things. Like, I know we had the 3-month break, but no one was playing or training the same way. But these big teams have like are cramming in a lot of games in a short space of time, and they haven't had the same rest that a lot of the smaller teams have had, and you think that they're on the back of like big seasons. So I think this will start to affect the bigger teams in general. So the reason I still feel like we will like win it is because although this is and it's the worst that it's happened to anyone. Like obviously it's 7-2, and other teams are taking. Like it's gonna happen to everyone. You know what I mean? Like everyone's gonna get hit by like, small teams or get hit by like a 4 or 5. Like we've already seen City hit by one, Leicester been hit by one, United been hit by one. So the only reason I feel like our defense will sort itself out eventually, but even if it doesn't away, like this is going to be an ongoing trend. Like teams are going to take patterns. They're going to get caught on days, like specific days. You know what I mean? Like not specific days, but like any day, like at right about now, anyone thinks like they can get it. I think with the whole crowd thing, like there's no fans, like away days, like home and away don't really make a difference no more. So like people are like all teams are going to get hit by these things. So I feel like it's going to be a level playing field. So that's the only reason why I kind of still feel like Liverpool win it, because everyone's going to get like this kind of treatment, not necessarily 7-2.
Okay. Faz, before we move on, do you have anything that you wanted to add to that?
No, I agree with that. Like I said, we were talking about that earlier, and I mentioned it before that I think the bigger teams are struggling from fitness, and I don't think they are going to be at the very peak of their powers until sort of maybe half, a third into the season or maybe a quarter into the season or whatever. Once we hit 10 games, I think that the bigger teams will start to find a bit more consistency. Like Everton, they're not necessarily like a big European team, not really playing many games. I don't know how far they went in, like in the cups last year and stuff like that. So like they've had a lot of time to prepare and to, work on things and to work on their fitness and to be rested and all of the rest of it. So I think like right now there are going to be those kinds of teams that are sort of flying. But I think, like I said, in the next, like by the time we hit sort of 10, 12 games of the season in, I think most teams will start picking up a little bit of a rhythm. I think Spurs will probably be okay because they're playing a lot of games at the minute. So they're getting, and the thing is they're getting games against like the Europa League games they're playing more often than not are games where you can afford to rest a couple players and build up players' fitnesses and stuff. So it's like they're having a bit of a pre-season. So like their players are going to be sharper. Whereas I think some of the other teams aren't necessarily getting that luxury. And especially once we come back from the international break and you start having and teams start playing Champions League football, like there's no real time to rest players in it for those players. So you're just gonna have to use those games to build up your teams. But then you are probably gonna lose games as a result of that because you're not at your best.
Okay.
I feel like this year, this will be the lowest like title winning point tally for
like mid-80s.
I think you're looking. I doubt anyone's gonna get 90 points.
Yeah, mid-80s.
I reckon mid to low 80s. Like it might be like a Leicester, like an 81 or something. It's gonna be nowhere near what we've seen in the last 3 or 4 years. Just been 4 years that we've had 90s. 3. In 3, yeah, it's gonna be nothing yet.
All right, cool. Well, I suppose that wraps that up.